Boom.
Goes the dynamite. And boom goes the Dolomite is my name.
Boom goes the Dolomite is my name.
I gotta watch that movie.
I've never seen it. Neither.
I just have to catch up on movies.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, I was not good about movies this year. For someone who like cares so much about like the film industry and wants to get into it, I really gotta get obsessed with movies.
Yeah, no, I really feel like last year we did really well with movies. We saw most, if not all, of the Oscar type movies.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah, I saw a good handful.
The only one I didn't see was Call Me by Your Name. I think
I still have to see. Was that last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
Was that only last year?
Last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember.
Have we only been dealing with Timothée Chalamet for a year?
Why do people hate Timothée Chalamet
I don't hate
so much?
Timothée Chalamet. I just hate that his career took off seemingly so easily.
No, but I don't even mean you. Like, I see a lot of general disdain for Timothée Chalamet, like, online.
I think it's because he just is so white. And like,
it's not his fault.
No, it's just like, of course you did well. Look at your fucking face.
Right, yeah, he is a gorgeous man.
Look at your face. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just so like it's like people hand you Oscar nominated roles. Like yeah. Obviously I don't know everything about his life, and obviously I don't know what he went through to get to where he is today. Maybe he's been doing this work for like 6 years and it's only just starting to pay off now, and I don't know that because I haven't seen that.
Some child actor shit.
However, what we do know about Timothée Chalamet is that he like had a legacy at a really good art school. Like his parents went there, or like his mom did at least, and went to a really good art school. Clearly has a very good agent, very well connected agent who gave a shit about him, and he didn't get lost in the roster. Blessed genetically, like he's just got like bone structure wise, like his face is just like.
If he wasn't an actor, it'd be a fucking model or something.
Yeah,
like Calvin Klein model.
Like he's got a face for like haute couture fashion, like for real, for real. He looks like an Alexander Wang model or like a Karl Lagerfeld model.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like super conventionally attractive, you know, like look at the roles that he played, you know, in that year. He was like the fuckboy in Lady Bird, but then he was also like ingenue, cutesy little boy crushing on a grown ass man in Call Me by Your Name, like Jailbait.
Him and Army Hammer,
yeah.
Army Hammer.
So like it's just like, yeah, he's got a face for like cute ingenue boy and like dirtbag teenage asshole boy with a leather jacket on.
So you hear that, Timothy? Even though your career might be long and good, you will never be loved by the public.
No, people love Timothée Chalamet.
Of course, there's plenty of people. There's way more people who like Timothée Chalamet than others. Yeah. It goes back to what we're talking about.
I don't even think people really dislike Timothée Chalamet. They just like making fun of him because, as far as we know, his life has been pretty cushy up until this point. Right. It's like, oh, like, you had really successful parents, and then they got you into a really good art school, and then that art school led you to get a really good agent who then got you into really good movies. Must be fucking nice.
Must be fucking nice.
Must be fucking nice.
I'm gonna Google something.
I think that's the Letterkenny bit that I quote the most. Which, like, it drove me crazy because, like, you know, like, obviously, Letterkenny is filmed, like, not far from where I live. So, I see some of the people that I, like, grew up around in the Letterkenny characters. And they're dramatized versions of what I've seen. So, like, I don't say everything that they say, or I haven't been exposed to everything that they say.
Right.
But, like, the must be fucking nice thing is, like, something that I say all the time.
It's what,
before I even knew that Letterkenny existed. Whenever, like...
You finally found your thing that, like... Oh, I know Canadians who actually do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Who, like, say that shit all the time in disdain for people who have it easier than them. So... I heard that and I was like, that is so quintessentially Southwestern Ontario.
Right.
Like, holy shit.
So, to go back to what we're talking about with Timothée Chalamet, something I realized, and this goes back to our never-ending conversation about Twitter and how sometimes we love it and sometimes we hate it. Mm-hmm. Twitter has about 126 million daily users. So, like, that many people log onto Twitter every day. Mm-hmm. About 10 million of those users come from other countries. So, a lot of Twitter is very North American-centric, and a lot of Twitter is, despite having hundreds of millions of users, actually isn't that many people. Like there's billions of people in the world. There's billions of people in the world, and about 100 million people who are on Twitter. So when you see opinions on Twitter, always check how much they've been liked or retweeted.
Oh, totally.
Because even though you think like, oh wow, people are really talking about this, it might only be shared by like 500 people.
Yeah.
Which is nothing.
Yeah. The other thing that I've started to do is whenever somebody appears to say something, and like I've had this conversation before where like I had a bad habit of just believing people who said anything halfway convincingly enough, like with enough vigor that I was like, oh, you must really know about this topic. I would just believe them. So what I started to do is I go to their profile, and if their credentials aren't posted on their profile, then I take it with a very tiny grain of salt.
Then you're just a person.
Like somebody posted a thread of like things to look out for in a good, healthy partner, and like they were pretty decent points. It was like, when you come to them with a problem, like, do they try and stick it on you, or do they try and figure it out together alongside you? Stuff like that.
Pretty basic stuff, yeah.
And you know, like, some of it I identified with, and some of it, especially like we're coming up on 4 years being together, I'm like,
high five.
I'm kind of like, I don't know that I agree with that, and I don't know if I need to do the work on myself, or if this person is just, and then I just went to their profile, and like,
they're just a person.
There was nothing about them being a social worker, there was nothing about them being a relationship counselor, there were no credentials whatsoever. They had a website, they were a writer. So like,
tip me on coffee.
So you know, like, you know, this person is clearly educated. This person is not just talking out of their asshole. But
and they make some pretty good points.
But do I need to immediately like make these changes because this person on Twitter said so? Yeah. No, I think I'm fine. Yeah. I think I'll just keep going. You have zero credentials that support me believing you, or like taking your word to make any sort of change in my life. So I'm just gonna carry on.
You know, like, it's like when we talked to Brad about basketball. I think Brad's opinion on basketball is valid because he's a sports fanatic, as well as having journalist training. Yeah. So he's good at amassing information, and he's good at extrapolating and all those things. Yeah. Brad's opinion on, I don't know, Neapolitan pizzas. That is anyway. Brad's opinions on Neapolitan pizzas is the same as mine or yours, because we're not experts on that. Exactly. You know, but if you talk to some fucking Sicilian chef from across the pond, like, no, his opinion on Neapolitan pizzas is probably really strong. Yeah. You know,
and something to take heed of.
Totally.
And at the end of the day, you can always do whatever you want. Like bare minimum. If I like clicked on that person's profile and they were like, I've been a psychologist for 53 years.
You can still be like,
I can still be like, I think I'm just going to carry on the way that I want to carry on. If I really wanted to. I'm the kind of person who's like, oh, maybe I need to re-examine like how I'm behaving and see if there's anything that I could maybe be doing better as a human being overall.
Generally speaking.
But if the person's not qualified, then I'm just going to take it with the tiniest grain of salt and be like, okay, like, I feel like this is something that I could do more or better, but I'm just going to do that because of my personal thing. And this thread just did a good job of highlighting what I needed to change about myself.
So I'm curious about what you didn't agree with, but I want to share a tidbit before we get into that.
I think I bookmarked the thread.
Perfect.
Actually.
Yeah, good. We'll bring it up. Yeah. So I had a similar thing happen to me on Twitter a couple weeks ago, because something that's fun to make fun of on Twitter right now is that movie Marriage Story.
Okay,
with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver, which I haven't seen yet, but I do want to see because they're two actors that I like. Yep. I mean, ScarJo's full of problems, of course, but like at the end of the day, she's a good actor. So I think I'll enjoy her performance. So someone on Twitter, some Joe Schmo on Twitter, like quoted the scene of them like scream fighting at each other, and it's like something like hot take, unpopular opinion, whatever, like scream acting is like the easiest kind of acting. Right. Blah, 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 blah. You're just yelling at each other. And I tapped on their profile, and like you had, like, they weren't an actor. They weren't like a writer. They weren't anyone in the entertainment industry. Yeah. They're just a person. Yep. So like Twitter's about sharing opinions, and I think it's fine that you share your opinion. Yeah. But at the same time, like, don't go out there and make statements like this like you know what you're talking about. Yeah. Because you don't know what you're talking about.
I feel like the same method of thinking that us as a society have been applying to like customer service jobs recently needs to be applied to like careers and like industry jobs, like acting, like business, like politics, especially, which is, you don't know how everybody's job, you don't know how this job works. Yeah. You don't know. So when people say, why don't you just do this? Or like, acting is just this. Like, shut the fuck, you don't know how this job works. Right. You have no idea.
And if that person is an actor, that's fine. Maybe put it in your bio.
I mean, for what it's worth, it was a really funny joke to hear like, oh, like, the scream acting is all that theater school was, because like for all intents and purposes, like, well, yeah, for what it's worth,
it's pretty true.
I did see a lot of scream acting in theater school. Yeah. It's funny because those were the scenes that got picked for scene study projects, right, because they're high octane and give you a lot, especially as an amateur actor. Like, it's not hard to bring up that kind of energy, the screaming energy.
But as an actor, and I think you might agree with this, like screaming isn't just about volume.
No.
It's about like emotion and like
intent.
believability and intensity. Like that's the good word for it. It's intensity.
What is it? Objectives and super objectives.
Of course,
it's like, what does your character want right now, and how does it feed into what they want overall in the story?
And what obstacles are they facing, so on and so forth.
Exactly. What's standing in their way of that, and what does that mean to them?
Like, listen, I'm not the only person on Twitter who makes or has opinions, right? Like everybody, that's what Twitter is literally for. Like I mentioned this earlier.
Of course.
And it's fine to make opinions on stuff you don't have to be an expert to have an opinion on something. But I just think when someone is disparaging the work of professionals who are like doing a good job. I've seen this scene.
Yeah, and you yourself don't do that job.
Exactly.
Like if you're not an actor right now.
It's kind of just like like we had a professor, and I promise we'll get back to what you have here.
That's fine.
Like
that's fine.
I want to know. We had a professor in school where one of us, we were in class one day and he made a comment. Someone made a comment, "Oh, that actor sucks.
Yeah.
He's a bad actor."
Yeah.
And he said it, and I remember this and I will remember this for my whole life. He said, "There is no such thing as a professional actor who's a bad actor. You might not like their performances. Your opinion might not be a positive one, but they are literally not a bad actor because they are professionals at it. They know how to act, literally speaking."
That's so, I remember that.
So you kind of just went dead on me for a second there.
No.
You all right?
No, I had a lot of thoughts all at once because I agree with that. I think that's fair.
Some actors might be better than other actors. Like, that's given.
Yeah, you also, again, like, I don't know how movies work. I have a very faint idea of how like movies work and casting works and stuff like that, but there are a million casting directors in Hollywood right now and all over New York, whatever. Like there are a million casting directors in this industry. They all have different tastes. So I definitely agree with there's no such thing as a bad professional actor. However, or maybe I do just really agree with it because like it's just a matter of taste.
It's a matter of opinion.
Like
there's the objective and then there's your opinion.
Yeah. So like I'm not a super huge fan of, I don't even want to name names because this might come back to haunt me. But
Looking at you, Catherine Bigelow.
No, I'm not a super huge fan of like Henry Cavill's acting, for example. Nothing he's made appeals to me, and like you watched the Witcher trailer. I'm still not fully on board with the Witcher trailer for what it's worth, and I don't want to get into like the Witcher trailer because I want to get back to your point about like bad acting and stuff like that.
Right.
Not trying to bash. Obviously, Henry Cavill's a better actor than I am because he's where he is and I'm where I am.
He
so
fucking
like
played Superman.
Well, regardless
of your opinion of the Man of Steel movies,
this is just for the sake of examples.
Yeah.
But like somebody out there thought that Henry Cavill was like perfect for the roles that he's played so far, and I don't agree with that person, and I don't agree with Henry Cavill, but it doesn't mean he's a bad actor. It just means that like that casting director's approach, that director's approach, and that actor's approach are just different than mine.
So I
guess I do agree overall. I have my own like scale of like good and bad,
right?
And I'm just saying that like there are actors who are lower on that totem pole, than my personal totem pole, than
we're also actors,
others.
And we have the tools to act and stuff like that, so we can think a bit more critically about performances. Like when I watch a play or a performance, I think like, ooh, like would I have made that decision in this moment? Like who knows? Yeah, that's all acting is making decisions, right?
Yeah.
But to bring back to Henry Cavill, I think to sum up your point, to be like, because I feel similarly about Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill might not be my favorite performer, but he has a specific style that just doesn't gel with me.
Yeah.
And you know what? I watched, you mentioned the Witcher trailer, which actually, as of recording, comes out tomorrow. So excited for that.
The series comes out?
Yeah, it launches tomorrow, yeah.
Wow.
So Henry Cavill, like, his style, I would say, is, and this is not negative, I'm not trying to be negative when I say this, but it's very stilted. He's got a bit of a stone brick style to him. Like, he's very, like, masculine, and like he speaks kind of slow and pattern like.
Super masculine.
Yeah. So for Geralt, the main character of The Witcher, that is perfect. Because Geralt is like that. Like, you play The Witcher, and he talks like this the whole time. He's got this whole voice going on. Yeah, I got a personality, but it never gets quite bigger than this. Even when he yells, it's kind of like, ugh.
Right.
So, like, a character like Geralt, that's going to be perfect for Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
It's literally typecasting at that point.
Yeah.
So, I think The Witcher show is going to be great. And I'm really excited for it.
No, I'm just saying, like, the trailer didn't, like, sell it to me. However, from what I've seen of you, I've only seen you play The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any other Witcher games. But, and I've also heard, like, really cute things about The Witcher. Like, there's, like, a story that went viral a couple years ago about somebody who worked at a video game store, and this old lady, like, senior citizen came in and, like, wanted The Witcher, and they were, like, they got to talking about it, and he was like, so what do you like the most about The Witcher? And she got, like, very serious and, like, looked him dead in the eye and went, Geralt. I do it for Geralt.
I love Geralt.
I love Geralt.
He's a great character.
And, like, it was just, like, this lady is just, like, horny for Geralt.
Yeah,
so
man.
she just, like, pushes through this, like, 60-plus hour game.
He's one of those characters.
Because she likes the pixelated, snowy white man. Like,
because the thing with Geralt is Geralt has, like, a ton of history, both in the lore and also just in real life, because The Witcher was books.
Yes.
Before it was a video game, it was a series of novels.
Right.
So, like, what's really great about The Witcher games is that they have all these, like, expertly written, deeply intricate, lore-heavy novels to draw all of their content from. So Geralt is such a three-dimensional character, even in the video games. Like, the video game and book adaptations are a little different. The video games are much more monster-heavy. There's, like, more monsters in it.
well, because you got to give something for the players to play against.
You want to hit stuff with your sword, of course. But Geralt, it's interesting how he has a personality that's written into the game, but the way the game works is that you very much can give Geralt a personality. Like, he has lots of personality options, which I think is really cool about The Witcher. But before we go too far from the tangents, I want to hear about this.
Sorry, but just to wrap that up, like, this is all to go back to the, like, acting.
Yeah.
We're tracing back, like, 3. Yeah. We had, like, 3 sub-conversations, and we're slowly working our way back to, like, the main conversation
Welcome
point.
to the Chill Spot Podcast.
Welcome to the Chill Spot Podcast. Yeah, it's all personal. If this ever goes anywhere, I don't hate Henry Cavill.
No,
I don't. Not. It's just an example. It's also a personal opinion. I'm really trying to separate personal opinions from, like, actual facts and, like, things that we have to be concerned about and talk about and take really seriously.
Of course.
If you like Henry Cavill and you have enjoyed every single performance that he's ever done and think that he can do no wrong, totally valid, dude.
Yeah, whatever do you think?
Or a person, like, live your life. Like, just, it's fine. I don't have anything against you. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think I'm right. This is just my personal opinion. Henry Cavill is, like, not one of my favorite actors.
Just a personal opinion.
Just a personal opinion.
Well, it's like, we
keep doing your thing, Henry. Like, you're doing great, sweetie. Like, just
don't belittle the man.
I'm quoting. I don't think you know that Kris Jenner meme, but
oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about now.
Kim, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we say this all the time on the show, but, like, something we always preface this with, like, we'll say, oh, we're getting into personal opinion territory.
Yeah.
That's something you and I say quite a bit.
Yeah.
Where it's like, when I say that, I really mean, like, if you don't agree with me, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is what I think.
Yeah. So that wraps that up. Back to relationships and this thread and this person that I feel like I don't have to listen to, but can, like, consider what they said because it was very eloquently put.
Right.
This, should I name the Twitter? I'm going to quote the Twitter user so that if you want to
give them some 50 followers.
No, if you want to, like, go find it, you can. Twitter user Tony Tone, it's T0NIT0NE, wrote a thread called 7 Signs You Have a Good Partner.
Yeah.
This person,
I read that as well.
So this person's Twitter bio, for context, is content creator, speaker, as seen on HuffPost, Cosmopolitan, Oprah Magazine, Mail Online, and more. YW Trust Ambassador, which I've never heard of that. So they're a writer and a speaker, and an influencer.
So there you go. Clearly
clearly educated,
qualified in some way.
Clearly, authoritative on this topic in, like, some respect. Not a relationship expert.
She's a professional opinion giver.
I don't know what their pronouns are, but
this person, this user.
Person, yeah. If I were to like impose an impression first, I would say they're a woman, but I don't know, and I am not going to. Yeah.
Whatever.
7 signs you have a good partner, and they. I'm just going to give you the 7 signs, but, like, they elaborate more on this in the thread. One is they handle conflict maturely. 2, they celebrate your successes. 3, you trust them and they trust you. 4, talking to them is easy. 5, you spend time apart and have lives outside your relationship. 6, they're considerate and willing to compromise. And 7 is you feel loved.
It all makes sense to me.
It all makes sense. But sometimes, like, some of the ways that they elaborated on it, I was kind of like, okay, like 5, you spend time apart and have lives outside of your relationship. Your life consists of a healthy balance of us and me time. They want you to have a social life outside of them and don't seek to control you. You feel like you're given room to grow and spend time with others. Now, this is really interesting to me because I feel like in our relationship, that line is very blurred because we fit so flawlessly into each other's lives. Mm-hmm. Like we both have larger friend groups. I'm finding that not everybody has a social setup quite like we do.
Right.
Where we have like a family. We have like 5 or 6 really close friends.
We've been friends with for almost 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah. Some of the people in your friend group you've known since elementary school. I mean, everybody in my friend group I've known since middle school at the earliest.
Yeah. So like you've like
all through high school.
I think we've both known our respective Brads for like almost a decade now. Well, for me, definitely a decade.
Yeah.
Like well over a decade.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, yeah. I think it would have been because I would have met my Brad in like 2008, 2009. So it's been a decade.
Yeah.
It's been a decade.
Totally.
So because we fit so flawlessly into each other's lives and we get along with each other's friends so well, there's not a lot of like just me time and just you time.
Right.
Like,
I mean, we find it. We find time for that.
You know, we certainly find it. And there are like evenings where I don't talk to you a whole lot and I just like sit at home alone and like play Pokemon.
Stare
and,
at the
like,
wall, yeah.
You know, like play Nancy Drew and just like live my life. And I do hang out with my friends like without you there, but I also hang out with them with you there. Mm-hmm. And it's all just sort of like gelled into this like nebulous thing, but I don't feel like
it used to be like regimented. Is that what you're getting at? Like
yeah, and I feel like
Wednesday is me time.
I feel like
I'm gonna have a bath and rub off and go to sleep.
Well, I feel like there's a narrative right now, and it's certainly not unhealthy, of people saying like, if you're gonna be in a relationship, like don't give up certain aspects that you had when you were single.
Yeah.
You know, don't give up being alone.
No.
Like don't get too comfortable with like being in the company of other people all the time. Still do stuff alone and by yourself.
Of course.
And that's totally valid.
Independence is so important.
They always end comments like that with like, if you are constantly with people all the time, like what are you gonna do? Like you need to do some things by yourself. What are you gonna do if you're ever alone? It's like I'm confident that I can operate alone. It's just that like I have this person in my life and it's you, who I share everything with right now.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm ever completely alone, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to like evaporate into thin air tomorrow, I
hope you'd be a little upset about it.
I'd be upset about it, but like I'm confident that I could like operate independently, but I wouldn't like it.
Right.
You know, like it's.
I think I see what you mean. So it's like, in my opinion, what love really is for me is finding someone that when you hang out, because you and I are introverts.
Yeah.
So our social energy is recharged when we spend time alone. When I spend time with you, my social energy gets recharged.
Yeah.
It is as if I'm like by myself when I'm with you.
Yeah.
So I think that when it comes down to like spending time together versus not spending time together, it depends on the relationship. Yeah. Ours is one where when we get together, I don't feel exhausted. I don't feel like you're sapping me away.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like I'm exerting social energy. I just feel like I'm hanging out.
Yeah. We do alone things together sometimes.
We frequently watch TV and play video games. Sometimes we play separate games. Most of the time we play separate games.
I'll sit on my computer or my DS and like play a game, and you'll be playing a game on like a console, like your PS4 or something, like on the TV. And we're not talking, but we're sitting together and enjoying each other's company. And I feel like some people view that as unhealthy because we're never alone.
Right.
But like we're still doing the thing that recharges our introverted batteries. Yeah. You know, like we're still like sitting quietly, not talking to one another, like doing separate activities, like essentially being alone. But it's just like it's like, and don't don't get upset by this, but it's kind of like when our pets sit next to us when we are actually alone. You have the same energy as like a cat for me in that situation, where it's like you're a welcome presence, but I don't have to entertain you.
No.
I don't have to be on.
I don't expect to be entertained either.
Yeah.
But what's really nice about having
we do that a lot. Like, we can do that by ourselves, for sure. We're not, like, reliant on each other for that company all the time.
Right.
It's not like I can't play video games if you're not sitting quietly next to me.
No, of course not.
I do that all the time by myself, because we live apart.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I like doing that with you.
I don't feel the need to, like, carve out alone time and be like, no, so I need you to be in this room and I'm gonna be in this room.
Right.
I need to be alone.
Well, it's important to say that, like, 2 points. First and foremost, I think that like the notion that a relationship is you have a half and someone else is the other half and you come together to form one whole is completely incorrect.
Yeah.
You should be
still two separate people.
Full wholes
Yeah.
coming together to form a partnership which is greater than the sum of your parts.
More like a Venn diagram where, like, you still have separate points and then there's
Stuff
a really nice middle in there.
Totally.
Where you intersect nicely.
Yeah.
But you still have those separate points. It's two full circles making a Venn diagram.
Well, you know what it is, Sam? The reason why I think this person, when they talked about alone time and, like, shelling out alone time, and this is my second point, is that I think they're referring to people, and there's a lot of people like this, who, like, are attached to the hip, to their partners.
Yeah.
Like, we don't live together currently. And sometimes a whole week will go by before I see you again.
Yeah.
So when I do see you, I'm always happy.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think that's ever going to change because of the relationship dynamic that, in terms of me being happy when I see you, is ever going to change even when we do live together.
Yeah.
Because we've set up this dynamic and we're comfortable in this relationship where, like, I'm confident that, like, when we're living together and I come home and it's been a long day or whatever, and I think, like, I'm just going to go sit quietly over there, or, like, I'm gonna go into this room and be alone. Like, I know that you're not going to be offended. I know that you're not going to be this girlfriend who's like, oh, but I've been waiting for you to come home all night. Oh, please, you know, like. And then there'll be nights where we do that. There'll be nights where we spend literally all day together.
But see, and, like, this is the thing of the thing, and this is why we need to be, or I need to be, more critical of what I consume on Twitter, and other, you know, social media platforms where a bunch of different opinions are, like, bukkakeing me all at once. Like, that's a really, like, what this conversation that we're having right now is a good example of the conversations that people need to be having, especially with themselves, when they see threads like this person's Twitter. Like, so this, let's say you read this thread and this person is, like, espousing all of their opinions out into the world, and you read it and you internalize it and you think, like, oh, like, some of this applies to me. But you need to look at your situation, you know? Like, we have a unique setup right now in our relationship where, like, we don't live together. So our alone time just kind of, like, happens because we are not occupying the same space all the time. When we, like, come home at the end of the day, it's technically two different homes. Right. So, like, that's our current setup right now. So when I read this point about, you know, you still have time apart and you have your lives together, our current setup works differently than how this person has outlined that. And I need to look at the context of my life and how that applies and, like, examine if that setup is, like, healthy for me and if it's working for me. It's not that this person's word is gospel, you know? Of course not, like, it's not like I need to, like, tailor my life so that it follows, like, one Twitter thread that I saw one time. It's just, you know, like, read that point, consider it, chew on it, and then look at your life and look at the context, and, like, if something's not working, then, like, the thread has done its job and it's highlighted something for you that you needed to change. But if everything is fine and you're happy, you don't have to take the criticism at all. You can just ignore it and keep going, you know?
Yeah, I was just about to say what you just said there, where it's, like, another thing that I think is worth mentioning, in that, like, we talk about Twitter a lot because we're both very active on it. And I also think that Twitter is interesting. Like, it's an interesting social space.
Yes.
Specifically
because my parents have yet to infiltrate it.
Yeah,
my family has yet to infiltrate it.
So the thing with Twitter is that, like, you're right. You can find a thread like this that you really have a lot of opinions on, and, like, you can chat about it with your friends, or you can be like, okay, that was a nice thread, like, and then move on and forget about it. Yeah. Because that's Twitter. Yeah. You know, it's interesting how we can pick and choose tweets to discourse about. Yeah. Where it's like, really opinion-heavy stuff, like this person's thread that we brought up, is interesting to talk about. But there's people out there on Twitter, like one of these 100 million people who use Twitter, who will read something like that and be like, yeah, that's pretty cute, or like, oh, that reminds me of my relationship, like, retweet, and then just like, keep scrolling.
Yeah.
And before you know it, they've retweeted 3 other things, and then it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
That's the interesting part about Twitter. There's a lot of people who I think take Twitter as gospel, like you just said.
Yeah.
Where it's like, people really take things to heart on Twitter. I think that needs to stop.
Yeah.
You definitely should not be getting any life lessons from Twitter.
It's just people.
It's just people.
I mean, if you see something on Twitter that hits a little too close to home and you really want to examine that, then, like, by all means, go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's being introspective, and that's a healthy thing to do in the first place.
I think that's the beauty of Twitter, and I think that's why, Jack invented Twitter in the first place.
Good old Jack.
Was to bring the world together so that you could, like, hear each other's thoughts and, like, consider what everybody's thinking about everything. Where when askew was everybody started internalizing it and making it mean so much to them 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And human beings just aren't meant to take in that much criticism about themselves. With, like, what was the number you said? It was like 25 million daily users.
It's 129 million daily
129 daily users all smacking you in the face with their opinions and their thoughts all at once. Like, that's a lot for one human brain to take in.
And a good 80% of that is pure garbage.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that, like, we weren't looking at it as 80% as pure garbage. We were taking it as, like, if any of this sounds even remotely close to home for me, then I need to take that in and take it personally.
Yeah, because,
and you really, really don't, because these strangers don't know your life.
No.
Like, they don't know your life. If you want to take it personally, then, like, take some of it personally, but you really don't have to apply any of it to your life.
Well, I remember, like,
it's just strangers, and most of them are very unqualified.
Something got retweeted on my timeline a couple days ago, and it was a take. I don't remember what the fucking tweet was, but it was a take that was, like, really not a hot one. Like, I read it and was like, I don't agree with this. Like, this is stupid. Like, who retweeted this on my timeline?
Yeah.
And then what's really easy to forget is that, like, typically when stuff gets retweeted on my timeline, the like to retweet ratio could be, like, anywhere from 500 to, like, 125,000. You know? Like, so I always make a habit to check that stuff. We brought this up earlier, but I'm going to bring it back around. Where it's like this hot take that I saw, which was trash. I was like, who the fuck thinks this way?
Yeah.
And then I checked the retweet like ratio, and it's like, it got liked like by like 200 people and retweeted by like 300 people.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, it makes sense that this opinion doesn't agree with me because clearly not a lot of people agree with it.
Yeah.
But then you see something like, oh, I don't know, fucking Donald got impeached yesterday.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people were tweeting about that, and someone posted a really good political take, and it got retweeted by like 125,000 people, or like liked by like 50,000 people. Like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a general consensus in terms of like people actually agree with what this person says.
Yeah.
It caught fire. It went viral.
It's a sample size of sorts.
But the way you see those things on your own personal timeline is the same.
Yeah.
Like, you'll just see tweets on your timeline, right?
Yeah.
So it's really easy.
I'll see a tweet with like 7 likes, and I'll see a tweet with like 75,000 likes.
And it can be hard
underneath each other.
It can be hard to discern what is like educated opinion and what is pure garbage.
Yeah.
And sometimes that line gets blurred.
Yeah.
And sometimes pure garbage ends up on fire.
Yeah.
Sometimes a really shitty take will get like 100,000 retweets.
Yeah.
And people really agree with it, even though it's terrible.
And you're like, wait, what the fuck?
Like, you ever gone on like, you know what I'm talking about when I say gun girl?
Yes.
Like noodle hair, gun girl?
Yeah.
You ever like gone on her Twitter?
No.
So, like, her tweets, despite being pure garbage, in my opinion, get hundreds of thousands of retweets.
Yeah.
Because she's popular and controversial.
Yeah.
And
people still retweet her to, like, dunk on her, and it's like, you idiot, you're still retweeting it.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you're not helping. Or even people who reply to stuff, they just leave it alone.
Yeah.
But the thing I've realized, kind of like segueing into the next conversation here, is that you and I exist in what I would call the leftist bubble. Like, you and I are pretty left-leaning in terms of political spectrum stuff. Like, and I promise you we're not going to get into opinions or anything, but, like, that's where we sit as people.
Yeah.
I think that's evident.
Yeah.
Based 29 episodes of this podcast, I think y'all have figured it out.
Yeah.
So, there is a whole other bubble of people... Yeah. Like millions of people who think the opposite of what we do.
And only see that.
And a lot of people, they only consume that media.
Yeah.
They only see these opinions. And you know what? A lot of these people are probably perfectly well-adjusted people too. They're not the demons that our media makes them out to be. Of course, they have problematic opinions. Yeah. Obviously, that's why we sit where we sit. Mm-hmm. But it's just insane to me to think that there's these whole other people who aren't receiving the same information that we're receiving and have vastly different opinions on the same topic.
Yeah.
Like, there's a subreddit that I found called r/ask conservatives and r/ask Trump supporters. So, like, typically speaking, the setup is, like, someone from the left, like, posts on the subreddit, be like, what do Trump supporters think about this?
Yeah.
So, like, obviously the big thing was the impeachment. Everybody and their mother's talking about the impeachment.
Yeah.
And a lot of the responses, in my humble opinion, were complete delusion. Like, it's like, they say things like, oh, the Dems shot themselves in the foot, like, this is a gross misuse of political power, but then they're conveniently leaving out a lot of key information. But you know what? They probably didn't get that. They probably never found out this information because right-wing news sources don't talk about that. And I think that's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Not to get, like, heavy or political or anything. I just think that's, like, really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
There's a lot of food for thought on that topic.
Yeah. 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 The search for truth is never ending, and it's kind of like, it's what's the word, Sisyphean? Is that a word?
I don't know what that means.
Well, like, you know, like the story of Sisyphus, who was like, I forget what he did exactly, but he was like doomed to like roll a rock up, like a giant boulder up a hill, only to have it fall back down for the rest of his life.
Okay.
You know, so it's kind of become a metaphor for like a fruitless endeavor.
Right.
Or like, yeah, a fruitless endeavor. And in times like these that we're living in right now, where I feel like people just want the truth more than anything. They just want to know, like, what exactly is going on. I don't give a shit about... I don't give a shit about being right. I just want to know what exactly happened.
Because, you know what?
I don't care about sides. I just want to know what exactly happened so that we can carry on from there.
It makes me think, is the information that I'm getting 100% accurate?
If I sent Jack and Jill up the hill with a bucket of water, and Jack and Jill come back down and there's a hole in that bucket, and Jack says Jill did it and Jill says Jack did it, I just want to know what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a good metaphor.
Like, I don't care if, like, Jill is my best friend and, like, Jack is her ain't shit boyfriend who I've been waiting for something to be wrong with him for so long so I can finally say dump him. I just want to know how the bucket got a hole in it, you know?
Right.
I don't give a shit about...
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I have, like, my people who I root for, you know, politically, in an entertainment base... and an entertainment sense and all that, you know, I have that for sure. I have my people that I love and support. No one is immune to that, but at the end of the day, when events happen, I just want to know the truth.
Yeah.
I just want to know what exactly happened.
I don't
care. I don't care if my person did something wrong. I just want to know the truth.
Right.
People are flawed. People make mistakes. People do bad things. Left, right, middle, you know, diagonal, whatever.
Yeah,
people do bad things.
Right.
When those things happen, particularly in the sense of our leaders, I just want to know what happened.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I just want to know. And I feel like in the spot that we're in right now with like information age and stuff like that, I feel like people just want to not be wrong. Right. And I think we need to re-examine that as a society, as a race of human beings who talk to each other the way that we do and interact with each other more than any other race of species on this planet right now. I think we just need to like forget about... I think we need to be more comfortable with being wrong so that we can... Because that's the shortcut to the truth, right? Yeah. It's like admitting that you were wrong.
I seriously think, like, that is the root of all people's issues. Like, our issues as a society is that no one... There's two things, in my opinion. No one wants to be told what to do.
Yeah.
And no one wants to be wrong.
Yeah. Which
is, like, not the greatest societal cocktail.
Yeah.
Because that way no one ever grows.
Yeah.
You know, like, I hate to say it, there's going to be points in your life when someone tells you what to do. And it's up to you to look into yourself and be like, is what I'm being told to do positive?
Yeah.
Or, not even positive. Is it what needs to happen? There's a million different factors, right?
Yeah.
And then being wrong is a fact of life. I'm wrong every fucking day.
I'm wrong constantly.
I'm constantly wrong about stuff.
Constantly wrong about stuff. Constantly looking like a fucking dumbass and stuff.
Well, I wouldn't... See, but that's where I disagree. I don't think that being wrong is so negative that if you're wrong, you're labeled as a dunce for the rest of your life.
Right. You're unintelligent.
The tell of someone who is intelligent, in my personal opinion, is to be told that they're wrong, and they ask, why? And you tell them, and they go, okay.
change behavior.
Yeah, like, okay, like, I'm, like, obviously, like, then there's a whole argument of, like, do you agree? Like, do you think you're wrong? You know, like, because there are some times where someone says you're wrong and you're not.
Yeah.
But it's about learning and changing.
Yeah.
You know, accepting the fact that being wrong happens.
Yeah.
I think this goes back to schools, actually. Like, when I was growing up in school, like, being wrong was punished. Like, if you in the terms of the education system, if you're wrong about something, you lose marks.
Yeah.
And if you're wrong enough, you won't
or even
graduate.
Just think about like raising your hand in class and giving a wrong answer versus giving a right answer. Giving a right answer has a huge payoff.
You get those crazy serotonin hits.
A teacher says, that's right. And you get that, like, that vocal, like, tick, or that uptick where it's like, that's right. If you give a wrong answer, they're like, no. And then they immediately move on to the next person and, like, carry on. And it's almost like you don't exist to them anymore.
Shut up, idiot. So it feels.
It's, like, immediately dismissive. And it's like, okay, that sucked, so I never want to feel that again, so I guess I just gotta be right all the time.
Yep.
And then you put that intense pressure on yourself to be right all the time so as to never feel that way again.
Then everybody grows up to be a psychopath.
And then, like, when you're inevitably wrong again, because we're all human, you're like, shit! Damn it! I suck! I said I was never gonna be wrong again, and I did it again, and god damn it, I'm the worst.
Right.
And it's like, chill out.
Yeah, relax. It's fine.
Yeah, and this is really the pot calling the kettle black here, because, like, I refuse to let myself be wrong in any scenario, and I hate it when I give wrong answers, and if I don't think that I have the perfect right thing to say, I just won't say anything, which means that I'm silent in a lot of situations. However, like, yeah, I just think we need to re-examine our thoughts on that and how we process being wrong, stop taking it so personally, and just, like, okay, so that was incorrect, so, like, how do I get better? How do I make this better?
Yeah. Because it's really not a big deal to be wrong. It really isn't. I know that a lot of people feel as though that it is, and that your intelligence will be hindered or whatever if you're wrong.
You're not unintelligent for being wrong.
No, who fucking cares?
You just, I don't know how else to put it. Like, it just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it happens to all of us.
I think the tell of a stupid person is when I'm like, hey, that's incorrect, and you choose to die on that hill. Not because not because you think you're right or wrong. Exactly. It's because you don't want to be wrong more than anything.
Exactly.
You'd rather believe this lie or this half truth or this flat out misleading information than be wrong. And I think that's going to be the end of the fucking world. To be perfectly honest with you. That's
dangerous.
We have world leaders who behave like that.
Exactly.
You know, it's dangerous behavior.
Exactly.
You know,
we have people who don't want to admit that they put so much time and effort into, like, non-renewable energy resources that it's, like, killing the planet, and now they don't want to backtrack on themselves and admit that they were wrong, because they don't want their constituents to lose faith in them as leaders. But it's like, I wouldn't lose faith in you. No. I would actually be very happy if you were like, hey, so we tried this. Didn't work. Almost ended the whole planet.
Quite the boo-boo.
We're gonna try this Greta Thunberg's way for a change.
Right.
And
we're all gonna buy boats. We're gonna destroy every single plane.
By boat.
And we're gonna sail across the ocean.
Yeah. We're going to make traveling by water as fast as traveling by plane, and then we're not gonna need planes as often anymore.
Perfect. That's all we have to do.
That's all we gotta do.
Just figure that shit out.
We're
rocket boats.
We're gonna make traveling by, planes, trains, and boats a lot better, so that we don't need automobiles as much anymore.
Fuck it, man. Who needs it? Who needs them? That's what I say.
Yeah, there are better ways.
No, but I do think that, like, the idea that, like, leaders need to be these infallible people who, like, only ever lead us to great things is ridiculous. And I think that I mean, we had this conversation like a couple of podcasts ago, where we were like, the way politics works in terms of electing leaders, when you vote to elect, you're never going to be 100% happy with any candidate.
No.
Never. It's impossible. Because they're people. And that's a person with an opinion. And a lot of opinions. And now their opinions are going to be the ones that go out into the sphere and become the fabric of our country.
Yeah.
So, you have to weigh it out, okay, well, they're not spending as much money on outreach programs, but they are spending a lot of money on climate change. That's something that I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to vote for this person.
It's like, I care about outreach projects, but, like, I also care about the environment. The world is boiling, so we gotta
So, typically speaking. But then,
Yeah.
then I think the problem comes that these people turn around and they feel betrayed by their world leaders when they fail to reach their goals.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think if the world leaders came forth and like you just said, like, we're a bit more transparent, I don't think that would be a negative thing.
And like in a genuine like a genuine way.
Like we fucked up.
Remember when Kathleen Wynne, like at the end of the provincial elections, was like, I'm not going to be elected again, and it was like purely a political move. And it's like, you don't care that it's not about you admitting that you messed up and people aren't going to vote you in again.
That's
you're
pretty
like,
much the final nail in
you're
that
trying
coffin.
You're trying to get pity votes. Like, this is just a move for you. It's not, and it's not coming from a
feels
genuine
like a tactic.
place at all. And then it completely backfired on her. No, our leaders need to genuinely say like, okay, so I'm really proud of this accomplishment, and this is where I wasn't so hot. This is where I could have done better, and really self-evaluate and be honest. I think that's what people want to see right now.
Definitely.
It's just like
a little bit of honesty.
A lot more honesty, but that's too much to ask of a politician.
Well, you know what I would really respect?
It's way too much to ask.
This is such a pipe dream, but you know what I would really respect from a politician, like especially like a world leader? Like if fucking Justin Trudeau came forth and was like, hey, we got this plan. It's gonna be better for us in 5 years. But for the next 5 years, taxes are gonna go up.
Yeah.
But I promise you, in 5 years, things will be better. Like, I feel like if governments, like, obviously this is a pipe dream. I can't stress enough how this is not realistic whatsoever. I am by no means into politics at all.
Yeah.
I'm not a politician. I am just a YouTuber at this point in this current sphere.
And a podcaster.
Yeah. I lump those things together, but I guess they are different. So yeah, I think that if like Justin Trudeau was like that, I'd be like, okay, Justin. All right. All right, okay, cool. 5 years. 5 years. It'll be a little tight.
Yeah.
But we'll make it work for 5 years. And if you promise me in 5 years that, the things that we're paying for are going to bear fruit.
And I want to see progress right away. I want to be able to open up the CBC News app on my phone and see footage of you in the House of Commons fighting for this plan that you have in action right now. I want to see progress, and I want to see it immediately.
Of course.
I know it's slow, but I want to see it.
But see, the problem is that with this like this fantasy that I've described here, is that there's no fucking way that someone could say in 5 years we'll have this figured out, because that's not how politics works.
No, because that's not how life works.
Or life works.
Let's be fair. Shit gets complicated, and it doesn't get solved for like 10 years sometimes before anything gets like even remotely better.
Totally.
So like,
and politics is so slow.
Yeah, democracy is so slow.
Because you have the people in power being like, let's do this, and you have the people in opposition being like, fuck you, I hate you.
Yeah, absolutely not. Never. No way. Absolutely never. So like, you're right, but fundamentally, I just want to see my politicians say, so we tried this. Yeah. Didn't work.
So tax was going up.
I'm sorry.
Real sorry.
This is gonna hurt for a little bit, but I promise it's all in the better. It's like getting stitches, or when they have to set your bones before they put a cast on. Like, it's gonna be painful,
right,
for like 2 seconds, but that pain is the starting block, is the foundation of healing and getting better. It's but one moment of pain, and I think that rich people specifically need to accept that. Because I'm not putting this on like poor marginalized folks to be like, so it's gonna be a little painful right now, and like like money's gonna be a little tight, resources are gonna be a little tight. No. Poor people don't. The 99% don't need to pay for this. It's people who have the means and can afford to like be in a little bit of pain for a little while, who are like, I never want to experience like pain or frustration ever again.
Oh, Jeff Bezos, you're just going to be a billionaire for a little while?
Not a trillionaire.
As opposed to your trillionaire status.
Exactly.
Oh, guy could foot the bill for every person's taxes for the next 10 years in America.
Exactly.
For fuck's sake.
Exactly.
It's funny, right? Like, I really need to do more reading about this, because there are I see news stories every fucking day. It feels like there's a new millionaire out there who is just, like, amassing these, like, dragon gold amounts of money, like Scrooge McDuck sea of gold coins cash, right?
Yeah.
And I gotta wonder, like, what's the point? Like, what is the point? What is the point of being a trillionaire? I don't get it. besides being insanely wealthy, of
Besides
course.
just the knowledge that you and your family will never have to want for anything for
Like,
the rest of your life.
I'm going to give Jeff Bezos the benefit of the doubt for a moment here,
Yeah.
and think that there is a legitimate reason why he doesn't just fix all of the world's problems.
Yeah.
Like, there must be a reason, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't know what it is.
That's very optimistic of you, babe. I think Jeff Bezos is just an asshole and wants to hoard all of his wealth.
Maybe him in specifics isn't the best example.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, there has to be a reason, like a literal reason as to why these rich people, and maybe it is just human greed. Maybe I'm being a little naive. But at the same time, like, there's, like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I think to myself all the time, like, if I had Jeff Bezos' money, why wouldn't I fix these problems?
Yeah.
Like, it literally would not hurt my finances at all.
I know. I would love to think that if I could solve the Flint water crisis and still my family would not want for anything, then I would do that.
Yeah. Maybe I'm being a little, like, naive again, but it's like, there's got to be a reason.
Maybe like some red tape or something. That's
taxes
like
or whatever,
some
right?
like bureaucratic plug that's just like stopping you from just doing it.
The sad answer is
that's the thing is that like yeah. I'm all for Jeff Bezos like solving the Flint water crisis or ending world hunger or whatever it is that he can afford to do 5 times over and still be a billionaire. But it's not like solving the Flint water crisis isn't a transaction. Like it's
you can't go to Goldman Sachs and be like, here's the Flint money. Like,
and they're like, that'll be $5 billion, please, and you're like American Express, and then you like tap your card and like
tap $5 million,
and they're like, okay, here we go. Like it's not that easy.
Sorry, sir, you can't tap over 100.
It's certainly maybe it's a time thing. Maybe it's not the money, it's the time that you would have to sink into solving the Flint water crisis, because you would probably have to be the head of a project. Like solving Flint water crisis is a project, so you would have to take the time.
And a process, yeah. Like it's not just like, well, we fixed it.
So you would have to sink years into it, and of course he can afford it. And listen, he should do it, because when you're a trillionaire, you also have the time. Time is not a problem for you.
What does Jeff Bezos do every day?
Time's not a problem. Jeff Bezos could retire right now, and then he would have all of that free time to go to Michigan and solve the Flint water crisis and have all that money and still have money left over. Listen, he should do it.
Right.
Full stop, he should do it.
Yeah.
We're just pontificating about why he hasn't done it yet. And it's like, maybe he doesn't want to sink that time. Maybe he knows how much time it would take to solve the Flint water crisis, because it's been 10 years that Flint has had terrible water.
Yeah.
So like, he's probably going to have to sink bare minimum 10 years into fixing it all.
That's true, I guess so, yeah.
So like, and he would have to basically become a politician in Michigan to do it, So like, maybe that's why he doesn't want to do it.
It's probably far more complicated than we could even imagine.
Exactly.
In terms of like actually going through the channels.
Still think he should do it.
Well, I mean, if you got the money for it.
What do those steps look like?
There are also some problems that can't be fixed by throwing money at it. Like, right now as it stands, like, not to bum everybody out, but like, climate change is not an issue that can be fixed by just pumping money into research for it. Like, scientists...
we could hit the switch on non-renewable resources right now and say, like, okay, starting from now, like, we're not drilling for any more gas. We're not digging for any more coal. We're not we're not burning any more fossil fuels or anything like that.
We're not farming any more cattle. We're not doing all this shit.
Now, flip the switch on all of that shit. It's just wind and hydro and solar.
Yeah.
From here on out.
It still wouldn't fix the problem. Not immediately.
I was going to say it wouldn't fix the problem immediately. It would give us hope, and we would get to keep our planet for longer.
For a couple more years.
But these things take a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because the problems have been created over a long, long, long time.
Well, especially because if you go back to like the 60s, these same climate scientists who are still alive and working today were saying the same thing 60 years ago.
Yes.
This message has not changed.
Yes.
Like, it's just been like, hey, so like the planet is like kind of on, like, it's like smoldering at the moment.
Yeah, so like your beehive hairstyle is like killing the ozone layer.
Yeah.
1960s like hairspray era girl. Like,
fast forward to 2019 and people are like, the planet is literally on fire.
Yeah.
like Australia's been burning for like a week now.
Yeah.
Like, are we just not going to do anything about this?
Yeah, are you just going to let that sit there like that? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to take a long time. I mean, like, and again, I want to do it. You know,
Of course.
like, I want to take the time so that future generations can inhabit this planet, so that we as a human race can continue on. I would like to stay here. I like it here. I would like to stay here.
Yeah.
But, you know, these people who are like, oh, like, this billionaire can just pay for it, can just pay for it, can just pay for it. I would love it if they would pay for it. And you will continue to see tweets on my timeline saying, like, Jeff Bezos should solve the Flint water crisis. Jeff Bezos should solve world hunger with all of his money. He can do it. He can afford to pay for it, and he can afford to take the time off to do it. I still think he should do it. It's not easy, though.
No.
You know, like, we have constructed some really stupid confines on ourselves that prevent us from doing things as quickly as we would like to.
Sure.
And, you know, like, if all of the 1% were to wake up tomorrow and suddenly be great people and want to do it, it still wouldn't be done as fast as we would like.
Well, I mean,
so
yeah,
just be ready for that. Be ready for that. You know, like, it's just know that.
Yeah, you know, like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just being realistic about it. I want it to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm not going to see the completed project in my lifetime.
No.
I'm prepared for that.
Probably not. But
I do hope by the time I leave this earth that it's better, that we're not where we are right now.
Yeah, I don't die in a smoldery pit of fire or something.
Exactly.
A volcano erupts beneath me.
With some Donald Trump reincarnate, still leader of the free world. You know, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want better. I want to be able to leave this earth and be able to see that progress is happening.
You know, the optimist in me, I must admit, the optimist in me wants to believe that, like, this, like, post-Trump era world
that we'll hopefully be in.
We'll all live to see. Will be a better one.
Yeah.
I think. I think that there's, like, obviously, 99% of our audience are Canadian. We're obviously Canadian. I think that a lot of folks in the USA have learned their lesson. And I don't mean... No, let me finish.
Fucking crossed.
I don't mean Trump supporters. I'm not referring to them.
Yeah.
I'm referring to those who didn't vote.
Yeah.
I'm referring to those who voted for Harambe.
Yeah.
You know, I'm referring to those who treat their politics like it's a fucking Saturday night fun game.
Yeah.
Like it's like ding dong ditch. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it does matter.
Yeah.
It matters a lot,
Yeah.
evidently.
Yeah.
I think those people have learned their lessons. Hopefully. You know?
Yep.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
2020's on the cups.
Yeah.
This will be the last podcast of 2019, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know
I
what?
meant to talk about Christmas in this episode, but instead we talked about the information age and climate change.
Yeah, fun, right? Well, hey, I had a fun conversation with you.
Yeah, well, like, you know, and it is this time of year where we're looking back at what we've done in the past 365 days and considering what we did well and what we can do better. And I really hope that 2019 was just the year when we realized that talking is not enough, that actions matter. Follow through is the only way to see the results that you personally want to see.
Yeah.
If you if you think that there is something wrong in your world, then you start the change. You start doing the things that will turn the tides. And when human beings start seeing other human beings acting on things, they follow.
Exactly. We lead by example.
Exactly. So, you know, by all means, if you think that we're all just taking everything for Twitter really seriously, try being the first person to not take something so personally and say it out loud for others to hear, and everybody else will follow. If you think that, I mean, look at Greta Thunberg. Like, she literally got tired. Like, she looked at the numbers and got tired of people not doing anything, and she said something about it. And now she's the leader of a new global movement.
Yeah, and she's Times Person of the Year.
Yeah.
And I think she's either nominated or has won a Nobel Prize.
And you know what? The accolades are nice, but I just think she's a terrific example of action. You know, like walking the walk.
Putting your money where your mouth is.
If you see something, say something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The police say
I
for
know.
some reason.
I know. The anti-terrorist rhetoric, but like for real though, like we've crafted these bubbles for ourselves where everybody agrees with us, and then we go out into the world, and then like we know that the majority of people agree with what we think, and then we don't do anything to like change it. Mm-hmm. But if one person does something, everybody else will follow.
Yeah.
Everybody is just looking for everybody to start something.
There you go.
Yeah. So be that person. Fuck
Lesson
it.
number 1, be that person.
Why not you?
Yeah.
Lesson number 1, why not you?
Totally.
Why not?
Lesson number 2, don't take Twitter so personally, and maybe even take a break from it.
Yeah.
I've been strongly considering taking a break from Twitter.
Yeah.
Even just like limiting myself to like 9 p.m. onwards going on Twitter, but like the whole day, just like staying away from it.
Yeah.
Save for like chill spot updates.
I think 9 p.m.
stuff.
is a great time to put Twitter down because night Twitter is trash.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Lesson number 3 is I hope you enjoy your holidays and have a happy new year.
Yeah.
You should go out and really, and I mean that. I know I'm just goofing around right now, but I mean like something that's really great about this time of year, being the holidays, is that you get the opportunity to spend time with people. Mm-hmm. You get to have the opportunity to make time for people.
Something that I love about the holidays is just the overall vibe of like as Christmas gets closer, it's like, okay, get everything you need because society is shutting down on this day.
Yeah,
and
really.
If you need something from somebody else, like tough fucking nuts, we're all sitting inside and we're all just going to be very quiet and we're going to spend time with the people that we never have the time. You know, like throughout the the intense globalization that our society has been going through lately, like December and like the general like mood of December, I'm not even going to put it all on Christmas, just like
December
the whole like end of the year sort of vibe is like we're going to take some time to shut down and reflect. And all this like, oh, I just don't have time, I don't have the time, I gotta work, I gotta, you know, I have to water my plants, I have to
so on and so forth.
I have to, you know, like work on my craft, blah blah blah. That sort of rhetoric goes out the window for a month. And it's about checking in and clocking in time with people.
Yeah.
And that face-to-face time. And I really hope that you do that for yourself.
Totally. Christmas is the exact opposite of the Purge. Because the Purge, you get all of your negative, violent feelings out in a night of pure crime and violence.
Right.
Whereas at Christmas, you get to have all of these same things get out in a peaceful, fuzzy way. You get to spend time with your family and give hugs.
Or your chosen family, your crafted family, the people that you love.
Family is nebulous in my opinion.
Exactly.
Family is what you mean it to be. Not
be.
anything society says it should be.
Yeah. So I hope this end of the year season, you know, you really take the time to reflect and like reach out to somebody that you've been meaning to spend time with and like take this opportunity of society just sort of like shutting down and getting quiet for a couple of days to like check in with the people who matter most in your life.
Totally.
And like have that face-to-face time and recharge that way.
Yeah. So just like that, we'll be back again next week. This is the last podcast of 2019, and we know that wasn't maybe like the most comedic of podcasts in the world, but it was, I hope, a really great time for you to listen to us because we had a lot of fun doing this right now. And this is ends the first year of Chill Spot. Not a full year since we started, but the first year of us doing this.
Yeah.
And I want to say that it has been such a great experience to do this. Obviously we don't have, you know, we're not fucking PewDiePie or anything. We don't got millions of followers or anything.
Yeah.
But those who do follow us and those who do interact with us, you know, we love you guys.
We love that.
Thank you so much.
We love hearing from all of you. And like it really means the world to me that something that I've created, even in like the smallest of circles, has spread out to people and become a part of your life in a way that is truly why I went into the performing arts in the first place.
We'll be back next week, same time.
Yeah.
We'll hope we'll see you then, and we'll be back in 2020, everybody.
Yep.
And you have yourself a great day.
You too.